Welcome to the first episode of the Banterweight Champions. And PJ, we weren't supposed to record today.
No,
who would have
we
thought
weren't.
that the first ever episode of this podcast would be an emergency episode?
Emergency.
Because of how much chaos there has been.
It was an amazing day for news, but it was not an amazing day for the
Right.
sport.
And I told you this morning that there was so much news today, like so much to talk about, that we could go forever. And then the Conor stuff happened.
Yeah, and that we weren't even planning on doing anything involving Conor McGregor.
No.
And then this dude decides to throw a bike rail at a moving bus.
Unbelievable. Okay, so let's get the facts out there before we get into this. This is
surreal.
This
really.
is surreal. This is surreal for sure. Okay, so it's Media Day, UFC 223. They're leaving Media Day on a bus. That's how they do it. They take the whole roster, they put them on two buses, and as the bus is leaving, Conor McGregor arrives. He is not actually supposed to be let onto the premises, but people from the Mac Life, they are credentialed media members, let him in, and they basically began chucking objects at the bus, yelling at presumably Khabib Nurmagomedov to come out of the bus. And like I said, they were throwing things at the bus. One of those things was I believe it was a dolly.
Yeah, I think that was the one that made the big broken window.
Right.
Chair, bike rack, whatever he could find in the basement of Barclays pretty much was thrown.
Right. Okay, so we know two main things that have come out of this. One, there is a warrant out for Conor McGregor's arrest according to Dana White. I don't think that's been confirmed by police.
NYPD has not confirmed that as of 9:40.
Okay. The second thing is there are injuries, and they have cost this card 2 fights.
Yes.
Michael Chiesa, he was supposed to fight Anthony Pettis. That is off. And also Ray Borg was supposed to fight Brandon Moreno. That is also off. So...
And the Rose Joanna.
Yeah.
Rose almost pulled out because she was on the red corner bus that was attacked. So almost cost 3 fights, including a co-headliner.
Now, I saw Helwani. I saw the news that she was quote feeling better and she was going to fight.
Yeah, she's in as of now.
Why was she going to be out?
I think she was just shook.
She was shook?
Yeah.
I don't think she was going to miss the fight.
I'd hope not.
Right. Okay. Let's talk about this, and there's just obviously so much to unpack. What does this mean for Conor McGregor? Dana White has went, and he's emotional, and he kind of goes off the cuff and says some things sometimes. But when Brett Okamoto asked him, do you think that you'd want to continue doing business with Conor? Dana White basically implied that the answer to that question is no. He said, would you? So what do you think? Could this be the end of Conor McGregor? Is that a fair question to ask right now, tonight?
Well, where is the start of Conor McGregor in UFC right now? I would have to ask back to you. Is there a Conor McGregor in UFC?
There is.
Is there something to end right now?
There is. This was supposedly the Conor Cup.
Yeah,
I was going to say, I was pretty confident, I got to say, with how Conor's talking. He wants to fight. I don't think he's done making money for himself, especially after he gets sued up the wazoo after this. I think the winner of Khabib and Max was going to fight Conor. Dana thought that. Conor thought that. There's now a wrench in those plans.
Or a dolly.
but I don't know. But okay, do you believe Dana White? Is Dana White actually considering tonight cutting ties with Conor?
I do think he's considering it. Do I think it happens? No. If I had to put money on it, I think Conor comes back for one more fight at least. I think we get Nate 3. And I think that might be the end. And I think that's pretty far down the road.
Okay.
I don't think that's anytime soon.
My thoughts are this. First of all, Dana.
Yeah.
There's a lot. You need to take... This is kind of like John Jones will never headline a pay-per-view again. This is kind of like... He just said that he would never book Ferguson and Nurmagomedov ever again. You don't... But when he says this stuff... What we love about Dana is he says what's on his mind.
Yeah.
Right? We like that.
But it's going to change it.
But a lot of the times... Right. A lot of the times he's emotional. He says stuff. It winds up being a lie. It's not. It's not true. This is this is definitely one of those things. I want to zoom out here. What John Jones did is worse, right?
Yeah.
And let me just say before we get into this, because I guess I don't want to come off like we're defending Conor here.
No, absolutely not. This was bad. This was not good.
This was very, very bad. But when it comes to simply the question, what does this mean for Conor? Is this the end for Conor? These are the questions you need to ask.
Guys
I
come
think
back
you look at a guy like John
exactly.
Jones. Is hitting a pregnant woman and driving away better or not as bad as this? I'd say it's worse.
I'd have to imagine.
Right?
Yeah.
I'd say Floyd hitting women is worse.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is not. Here's what I'll say. This incident alone will not end Conor McGregor in the slightest.
No.
I suspect a suspension. Maybe it's what if they come down hard on him. Maybe it's a year. Right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean the end. What could be the end is this trajectory of behavior.
Yes, definitely. I think this is the start. I think this kind of, if he continues down, and I mean, we know why he did it, and he's been a big proponent of his guys. He's defended all of his Team Mac guys in the past. So, not to this extent, of course, but I think if he continues going on this kind of personal vendetta that he's just taking it out on everybody that has a problem with anybody he's associated with, I think you're definitely right. This down the road could become a major issue.
Yeah, he's so tribal.
Yeah.
The Bellator incident, right?
Mhm.
With I don't even remember his name. But
I mean,
obviously he was upset with the ref. He jumps on the cage.
Oh, that was crazy.
He assaults the referee.
Yeah.
And then there's the Irish bar incident, which hasn't really been. It's not on camera.
No.
So some people are skeptical in this day and age if something's not on camera, did it really happen? But like
That's still
this,
out there, though.
Exactly. I mean, this is we're talking about the Irish mob here. Like Conor has seemingly went off the rails. I don't know how you could argue with that. I don't know if there is substance involved.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. But clearly this, the trajectory of his behavior threatens his entire career.
It does, and I don't know if I think a year-long suspension might do everybody a favor, because I don't know if Conor was preparing to come back within the year. I would hope he would have been.
I think he was.
Yeah, but I think maybe some time removed. Like John Jones took a while off before he even tried to get back into anything, and I think some time removed from the situation, he's still going to play up everything. He's still going to talk on social media. He's still going to post pictures of him in his Rolls Royce. But I think some time removed from the fighting game might do both sides some good.
As long as but I'll say the time between the Floyd fight has not done him well.
No,
Right? It's done him very, very poorly.
he's gotten worse since.
Yeah.
I actually think it might be better for UFC to kind of separate. It sounds weird saying that UFC should separate from their most marketable star. It's like a really weird thing to say.
Yeah.
But maybe this provides an opportunity for somebody else to step up. That's my first thought. Can the UFC find somebody else to market as heavy as Conor?
Probably not.
Probably not. But
Right.
I hope it's there. I hope it's
mean,
there. I would love
look,
to see somebody else come.
There are good things going for the UFC right now, in
Yeah.
a way. There hasn't been really until, this card when it comes to this year in particular.
Yeah.
2017 wasn't a great year. But 2018 doesn't look bad. We'll probably get John Jones back.
And it was supposed to start on Saturday night. That was
Right,
supposed to
exactly.
be the big coming out party.
Exactly. It's time for the UFC to come back. This week has reminded me of 2016.
Yeah.
There were so many weeks in 2016. There was so much to talk about. There was so much news. There was Conor news. There was Ronda news,
Yeah,
right?
and we had Ronda
John
news
Jones
this week, too.
Exactly. This
Total
week
throwback.
reminds me of 2016.
Yeah.
There's so much to
It's great.
talk about and think about. As Conor McGregor fans, we've
Yes.
both, we've both followed Conor for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, we both have positive attachments to Conor.
Very much so.
How do you feel as a fan about this?
I mean, I'm disappointed. I wouldn't go as far as to say that I'm no longer a Conor McGregor guy. I think that would be foolish. But I'm definitely disappointed, not only that he put so many people at risk, and including his own career, but I'm kind of just mad he ruined this card.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he did ruin it,
but
he put it in jeopardy.
Yeah.
And that's what's different about the John Jones incident and this incident. That's why Dana is going to react so viscerally to an incident like this.
This hurts Dana. This hurts Dana's pocket.
Right. Probably.
Yeah.
Is this going to bring extra attention to UFC 223, and will it sell more pay-per-views?
It might.
There's a possibility, honestly. That's
Yeah.
kind of a funny way to look at it, but
Yeah.
it's definitely a possibility. Other than that, certainly nobody wins. You look at Conor's sponsors, and this guy, he has been a marketable enough person, despite all the noise about him, saying things that are racially insensitive. I always kind of chalk it up to him trying to aggravate his opponent in any way he can. But you know, Budweiser, Burger King, they've all sponsored Conor McGregor and endorsed Conor McGregor,
And
or Conor
recently,
McGregor
too.
endorses them.
Yeah.
This is gonna base probably. I'm expecting all of his sponsors to cut ties with him.
Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, so this is a lose-lose. And Artem, the guy he was trying to defend.
Yeah, not a good look for Artem either.
Artem
which is
has
a
been
problem.
pulled from the card because Conor comes.
I mean, you literally, in supporting your own guy, you also, like, you definitely hurt him.
I gotta think that Conor pays Artem what he was gonna make.
No doubt.
doubt.
I'd have to think.
No doubt.
I mean, he takes care of his guys. We
Yeah.
know that already.
Right.
So I think there will be some.
And that's when he goes off the rails.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I'll say that on the question I posed to you, how do you feel as a
Yeah.
Conor McGregor fan? I was defending him a lot during the press tour with Mayweather.
So was I.
And it was hard.
Yeah.
And it was really hard.
It was an awkward position to be
It
in.
was. I will grow very tired. I can't defend him on a lot of this stuff, on the Bellator incident, on this incident, on portions of the Mayweather-McGregor tour, you know, particularly the way he handled Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So this is getting certainly tiresome. And at this point, there was a point in Conor McGregor's career where, like, if I had a little kid, which I don't, I would say you can look up to Conor McGregor. He's a great symbol of loyalty.
Rags to riches, you know, the whole thing.
Dream
dream
chasing.
chasing.
The way MMA wasn't even a concept in Ireland, and this little kid said, "I'm gonna do this."
Yeah.
And you know, despite what his parents must have said and his friends must have said, he said, "I'm gonna do this."
Exactly.
That's inspiring stuff. I would have said you can look up to that guy, and that is no longer the case with how he's just behaving.
And I think that's part of the UFC's problem right now. Not so much even marketable stars, as we said before, but what quote-unquote role models do you have for if you're trying to become this major sport, like you think, you know, basketball, LeBron is a perfect role model for everybody, and baseball's got all these guys. And who were young kids looking up to in the UFC right now?
It was GSP, right?
It was,
He
yeah.
was the first guy to put on
He
a
was.
suit and be a professional.
Yeah.
And I want that because that's another thing. This sport is stigmatized.
It is.
And this stuff doesn't help that.
No.
I actually was planning on opening up the show, you know, because I want to take things from sort of a fan's perspective a lot of the time, which a lot of MMA media doesn't do. Understandably so, but, you know, I'd say in some cases it hurts them.
Yeah.
And it could help us. I wanted to start out with saying, like, talking about how sometimes, or asking you, do you need to defend yourself as an MMA fan?
I mean,
How often are you defending the sport?
Yeah,
Do baseball
just the
fans,
sport. No,
Do baseball
fans
have
don't
to
have
be
to
like,
answer for.
hey,
for-
see, no one says, you know what, baseball is wrong.
No one says like games take 5 hours.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
something wrong about hitting a ball with a bat. Like,
Yeah.
it's
This is bad.
Yeah,
this
that's-
baseball thing, it's wrong.
it's not good.
Yeah,
But
people say that about MMA.
question MMA all the time.
Yeah,
And I feel like it's to an extent like it's a you don't get it thing. But I hate
Yeah, it
saying
is.
that. Like, but I think it is. They just like people who question it don't. I don't know if they've ever even watched a fight before. It's just this preconceived
Right.
notion of, you know, human fighting, where it's like
you're always going to get that crowd. You're going to get the crowd that says they don't like hockey and doesn't know what an icing is.
Exactly.
But there's also the crowd that has been used to watching people fight for, you know, I don't know, 40 years, 40,
Yeah.
50 years with their fists. And all of a sudden,
All of a sudden-
throwing, elbows and knees are flying.
you can kick people.
Yeah.
And it's not allowed.
They're like, holy, what is this?
What? Hold on.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just like we're kind of startled by the image of like 12 to 6 elbows, even though they're fine.
Yeah.
Right? There's just certain mental blocks that we have.
Because it looks different. It's a
Right.
different look, and it's a different style, and it's a different. I even want to say like atmosphere.
Yeah. Young people are better about it, though.
Yeah.
Young people are more accepting. It might be because they didn't grow up watching boxing, honestly.
Yeah. And I mean, even here at college, I don't see as much as I would have at home as well. I feel like
Yeah.
I've gotten more.
MMA haters, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I've gotten more of an acceptance, I guess. I don't know if there's more fans per se, because I mean, my friends back at home are huge. But
Yes.
I think there's more of a tolerance, I
Uh-huh.
guess. I don't know
I
if
could
that's
go-
how you.
Yes and no. You know, I was expecting more MMA fans.
Yeah.
I was
I
expecting
would have
more-
too, definitely.
Yeah. But I agree. Just in general, I think young people are way better about it. Still, Conor McGregor, not if you ask
Not
around
ideal.
regular sport, Normal sports fans, mostly negative, I'd say.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's end it on that. Not good. However, I think we both agree not necessarily
Not end
fatal.
of the world. No.
Not necessarily fatal unless this stuff continues. This has been part 1 of episode 1 of the Banterweight Champions. We'll see you soon.